Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It is great to be with you tonight. It is, in case you're wondering, yes, Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. Great to be with you tonight. Thanks so much for popping in. If you're new here, you'll see a QR code at the top, and you can launch your phone, your smartphone, point over the QR code like so, touch the yellow lips. You get my link tree as easy as that. If you are not, watching me, but you're only hearing it like an audio podcast, well, then be sure, ladies and gentlemen, please to go ahead and definitely go to believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And we add a brand new section here. Tools for podcast hosts and guests. That's a great place for you if you're a podcast host or you're a podcast guest and you like to take out some stuff that can help you grow it as well as give you more experience on being a guest on a show and to be better at that. So definitely want to share that with you. And thank you so much for being here, whether you're here at 10 p.m. at night, 10 a.m. in the morning, 12 noon, 12 midnight, 3 a.m., 3 p.m. I'm so grateful to have you here with me on Inspirations for Your Life. And I do want to reach out and say a big, big thank you to everyone because that thank you, ladies and gentlemen, you know what that is? Yes. That thank you is going out to you because Inspirations for Your Life is now at over 43,000 downloads. We're on a record to hit 50,000 before the end of the month, which would be awesome. And we are hoping to break basically by the end of the first quarter. Like 90, 100,000 is what we want to break by the end of the first quarter. I know we can do it. So thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate that. And if you guys want to know what I do, let me share that with you, if I may. So I'm John C. Morley. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I am a podcast host and a podcast coach. And I specialize in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and being more scalable and profitable. And I got to tell you, it's always great to be here with you guys. And I typically work with companies that bring in 10 million or more, and they're looking to grow their business by me coming up with a story or helping them tell the story they already know that's all based on truth and authenticity. So that is what I'm about. And let's get right into tonight's show, shall we? All right. I thought you'd never ask. So tonight's show is all about mastering VAK combinations for success. Series 2, Show 45, episode number 4. Great to have you here and checking this out. So we're talking a lot, ladies and gentlemen, about the VAK. The VAK. And I got to tell you, I think it's pretty amazing of, what's going on because VAK is so very, very, it's powerful. Probably the best way to say this. It is extremely, extremely powerful. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, that it's got to be something that I think everyone is going to be, how can I say, very grateful for because a lot of people don't realize that, what we're doing in our life and how patterns form and not necessarily that people want them to form, but they form. And I think it's a great thing, but we have to understand like what's going on, right? We have to understand that information. And if we can understand that information, then I believe that our life can change. But patterns form in a lot of people's lives, and when I say they form because of the way people live. All right, that's why they form. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, that you're probably saying to me, this is kind of crazy. This is kind of nuts. Well, it's not. Um, but I have to tell you that your life evolves around patterns. It evolves around patterns. And so I want to tell you that it's very important that you understand patterns in life. I mean, this is extremely important. And why it's important is because in life, there is a pattern for everything, right? Um, what you're probably asking me, John, is how does VAK empower us to take action with ourselves and others? Well, just to get into the short of it, because we're going to get more into it as the week progresses, we do things because we get into a pattern, into what we call like an autopilot mode. And a lot of times we don't even know why we're doing something, we just do it. And that's great. But suppose we want to change what we're doing, then we need to understand how those patterns were formed and how do we alter or change them. I mean, I think that's the bottom line. If we know that we can change these patterns, then we have the ability to reshape our lives. Yeah, that's right. We have the ability to reshape our lives. And if I said to you that we could reshape our lives, then I'll tell you that the world is endless. And people always say to me, John, I can't do this, I can't do that, and they cry and complain about it, but they don't look at the good things that they can do in life. Um, I know that it's probably crazy. Um, that's probably the most important thing that I have to tell you. I know that you're probably saying, things happen a weird way. And the reason they happen a weird way is because we don't necessarily know what's going on. And I'll tell you that when we start to embrace, okay, these different types of things that we're doing, it really changes our lives. It changes our life in a very, it changes how we are. I will tell you that it's about a choice in life, okay? A choice. And choices happen, but the first thing that winds up happening is that we have to understand why things are happening. Does that make sense, everyone? I know you're probably saying that you can't change the past, okay? You can't change the past, but you can change the future. And I know that you might be saying, John, that you're wondering, how do you change this? How do you make it happen? And I think we have to do is we have to understand these patterns that are starting to form in our mind. And when these patterns form, it's like there's a different pattern that forms for different things in our lives. I mean, this is like inevitable. They study this for a very, very long time. I want you to understand that if you want to make a change to something, you have the intention to do it, you can. And by you taking the time to study VAK, visual, auditory, kinesthetic patterns, which we're going to share with you, and the combinations and the permutations to the mind, I don't want you to ever use them in a manner that's going to harm or hurt someone. I don't want you to use it against anyone either. I want you to use it in a manner that will help everyone. And I know you're probably saying to me, John, this seems nuts. It's not nuts, but I will tell you that sometimes in our lives, okay, we fall into something. We don't necessarily know how or why we fall into it. Hey, thank you very much, Henry. Really appreciate that. Every single day, we have a brand new show, but it's based on a master topic that rolls out from Saturday and then finishes up on the Friday. Sometimes we have guests, which are really great. And so I try to come up with topics that I believe are going to be some good learning lessons, some benchmarks, some nuggets that people can apply in their lives. And what I try to do each day is I try to give people this in doses, very small doses. So, for example, early in the week, we talked about what visual is, what auditory is, what kinesthetic is, what a vault is, what a combination is. Then we talked about yesterday what a decision and stimuli is. Today we're talking about VAK, and that when you choose to understand VAK, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, you can empower yourself and empower others. And tomorrow we're going to talk more about what visual stimuli is, what auditory stimuli is. And then what we're going to do on basically on Friday, we're going to put that all together. So tomorrow, which is Wednesday, we're going to talk about visual stimuli. And then Thursday, we're going to talk about auditory and kinesthetic. And then Friday, we're going to go through the VAK and how it all goes together. I think that's probably a very important thing. And, just making the choice to want to learn something is enough. There was a person that said something a while back, let's say you want to open a restaurant. Don't worry about opening the restaurant today. Just take 10 minutes every day and research something about the restaurant industry. And in the year or so, you'll open that restaurant. And if you take these small steps, you're going to find that your mind and your body just move in that direction. You're going to connect with those kind of people. You're going to be in those kind of situations. But it's a lot less stressful than saying, oh my gosh, we're going to open a restaurant in a month. No. I'm not opening a restaurant in a month. I'm working on learning about the restaurant industry so I can open a restaurant in about a year. See, that's a different modality, and it takes the approach that I want to learn. See, I think a lot of people in life feel that they know everything. And I know I don't know everything, and I always need to learn. And the more that I can learn, okay, I have to tell you, the more that I can do some amazing stuff. Okay. The more that I can do some amazing stuff. Right? And you might be saying to me, John, this sounds all great, and I think it's amazing what we're doing, but what is it that is happening? And I think what you're going to find is that people are driven by nature and by patterns. And so there is a rhyme and there is a reason to why people do things. And if we can take that approach, then we can learn something. Okay? And don't worry about learning everything overnight. There's no need to learn everything overnight. But what I do want you to do is learn a little bit each day, right? This is almost like, losing weight. And for those of you that don't know, I made the commitment yesterday to start training for my first little 5K and to be in the New York Marathon next year. I know that sounds like a very big challenge, but hey, I got a whole year and even more than that. And I am starting to train now, and I'm starting to run different places. So when I, let's say, get to my car at the office, I run to the building. Okay. And I get comfortable with that. And then when I want to go to something else and earn, I run. But first thing I do is I walk fast, then I jog fast, and then I run. And if I get tired, then I just go down to fast jogging. And if that doesn't work, I'll go to slow jogging, and eventually I'll go to fast walking. And the whole goal is to embrace the fact that that pattern works. All right. And we're going to talk a lot more about patterns and a lot more about combinations and permutations and how they are basically, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I have one here. Sure, I do. The key, okay, to unlocking, yes, your mind. The key to unlocking your mind and other people's minds. But don't do it in a manner that's going to be controlling. You want to do it for the greater good of all concerned. I mean this. You want to do it for the greater good of all concerned. All right? That's probably the most important thing that I can tell you. When you do it for the greater good of all concerned, something happens. It's like the purpose. It's like the premise. It changes. And the reason it changes is because you are doing it for the knowledge. You're not just doing it to get up on someone. You're doing it because you're really trying to make a difference in the world. And I believe when you do those kinds of things, our lives and other people's lives change. So VAK is a tool, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, that can help us get on track to becoming a better version of ourselves, but actually giving us the empowerment we need to sometimes get over that hill, to get over that milestone that we just seem to be able to reach. And it's not because we don't want to, it's because we don't understand why we're stuck. And we're stuck because we don't understand, what we're stuck in. I remember telling you a story a while back. I'm an Eagle Scout, became an Eagle many years ago. And I will tell you that I was going for my citizenship badge, something I thought was going to be a really easy badge. And, we did that badge. Everybody took it because it was always going to be a bird, like a bird course, and be so easy. It wasn't easy because my merit badge counselor made this really difficult. And he did that because he knew a lot of people just, flew through it. And when I met with him, and I thought he was just going to pass me going through, and he wasn't. He's like, "You didn't read the book." I was like, I skimmed through. He's like, "You did not read the book." He's like, "Read the book. If you have questions, let me know. But you didn't even try to read the book." And he was right. And that taught me that sometimes you need to find the solution is through the problem. That's right. In every problem, there is a solution. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you know who I am by now? Sure you do. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic evening. I hope you'll like, love, support the channel, comment below, make the choice, click on that link to help keep our content free, and make the choice to buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, a scrumptious bowl of desserts. Either way, we'll be grateful. Those pennies and dollars will invest into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping motivational content to empower you to make the changes that you've been waiting your entire life for. And you know that not only am I a serial entrepreneur, I'm a podcast host and a podcast coach and specialist in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and being more scalable and profitable. And, I typically work with companies that bring in 10 million or more. And I'm great at helping them find their story, writing their story, telling their story, but telling it on truth, okay? Not on some superstitious or some non-factual thing, because I'm all about the integrity. I thank you so much for being here, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a privilege, pleasure, and honor. Definitely check out all my great content at BelieveMeAchieve.com, and I'll catch you on another show real soon. Be well, everyone, and take care.